Okay, so this is my response for my brown bag exam for Under the War-Torn Sky. Sorry, it's a little glitchy. So, my brown bag item was the French English dictionary. Some of the immediate ideas that connected for me once I settled for that was number one, identifying Henry's poor French, how most of the story is actually set in France, um, how um, Henry kind of has to put on this facade or this external shell by putting up this pseudo persona, I guess you could say, of being this confident individual, knowing that he is struggling with the language. Um, One thing that I also kind of noticed or remembered was how Henry was extremely adaptive in his ability to use whatever he did know. So really tagging on to whatever French he could grasp to survive and to, in as much as possible, blend in. Madame, and just like her picking at him, but then also supporting him and encouraging him, like specifically on their first encounter. She was like, "Oh, do you speak French?" And he was like, my accent isn't so good. I don't speak it that well." She said, "Oh, your accent is less than perfect. And I'm sure while you're here, you'll be able to pick up the language." And then for me, it was interesting when reading when he first got into France. Well, Montreux, my French sucks. Um, and hearing that French now replaced the German language and how he felt safe, but then now segueing into my comments from Ellen Elliott's interview, how she kind of shared that balance between vulnerability and how it connects to middle schoolers. A lot of the times, anything that's new is going to make you feel uncomfortable, and that uncomfortability, therefore, will kind of impact. How receptive you are to the environment or to that process. And just like middle schoolers, we have to be extremely particular and intentional about how we approach them and how we say what we say and what we mean behind what we say and the things that we do. Because again, with them already going through so many changes, albeit physically, mentally, emotionally, and even academically, that vulnerability still most definitely exists. My passage that I took that really again kind of took on the concept about Henry's need and desire for survival was on page 145 when Henry yanked, and it reads, Henry yanked open the hiding closet and dropped the boy in. He repeated what the boy had first said to him: "I will be back for you. Je viendrai, je te promets. Trust me, the accord." So with that, again, kind of Henry putting himself in the line of fire and trying to protect this boy, really showed how he was able to quickly recall and pick up the language that he heard. So learning from that boy in the time that now the boy needed him to step up and protect him, really echoed some of my initial ideas. Some ideas and comments and connections. So first off, survival is pertinent, especially in war, but across the board, whenever you're in an unfamiliar or in a vulnerable environment, you're going to do whatever it takes to be to live in all essence. And I really would like to compare that to the journey of the process of our ESL students. Me having the experience of teaching ESL students before, me as an English language speak, like that's my heritage language, and now going and using and tapping into a language that's more so foreign to me and trying to break that language barrier. I really feel that this particular novel kind of touched on some of those elements and those struggles that our English language learners actually face on a day-to-day basis. And seeing now an American, an English speaking native, now struggling to master or even at least learn certain phrases and commentary of another language was interesting. And it kind of gives us a different perspective of, well, as an educator, what am I doing to ensure that my English language learners are getting all the efficient support and all the efficient resources that they need to be successful, not only to master their own heritage language in a foreign area, but then also now learning this foreign language in order to survive and to be successful. And that is my brown bag exam for Under a War-Torn Sky.